It looks so pretty. I don't want to eat it sometimes.
Mine doesn't look as pretty as yours, so I'm okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Ruth Kinane. I'm a correspondent here at Entertainment Weekly. And today I am going to be making some food, hopefully to celebrate the release of Selena Plus Chef, which is Selena Gomez's new cooking series on HBO Max. And because I clearly cannot do this alone, I am joined today by Candice, who is one of the featured chefs on the show. And she's going to teach me how to cook, hopefully. Hi, Candice.
Hi, Ruth. How are you?
I'm good. Dang, I'm a little bit scared, but I think it's going to be fine. Thank you so much for doing this.
Don't be. You chose me. I feel like I'm probably like the softer chef out of the group. It's used to girlfriends and boyfriends and cooking at home. So we're gonna make.
So you're patient.
Yeah, and we'll make this super fun too.
I've asked some of the best chefs to school me. So I'm so excited to learn from the legend.
I'm so happy.
They're at home, I'm at home, and we're gonna see if we can make a meal together apart. What are you gonna teach me to cook?
Spicy miso ramen.
What are we making today?
Miso ramen, and we add a little bit of spice to it so it gets hot. First, we're gonna start with toasted sesame oil. In Japanese, we call this gomabuda. And then we have our yellow onion.
Yep.
Yes. So go ahead and thinly slice this, Ruth, first in half.
Okay.
Kind of share my cutting board with you. And then we peel the layers off.
I'm already struggling.
Well, the thing is you and I are just going to have fun, and we're going to pretend like it's just another day in the city together. And I love that you're a New York City girl, and so am I.
The one drawback is the size of anyone's kitchen in this city. So when I was watching this show, I was like admiring your kitchen, and Selena's kitchen's obviously beautiful. And she has those really cool knives. And then I'm like, my apartment is literally a box.
Well, yeah, but
we love New York.
I did what you're doing when I lived in the city also. So I can empathize with you, of course.
Yeah.
Have you ever made ramen before?
No, this is the first time I've ever done this. I always thought it was going to be so difficult because, you know, when you go and eat it in a restaurant, you're like, wow, the flavor is so complex. Like, it looks so pretty. This can't be something that I could make at home. And then I watched the show, and then you made it with Selena. I was like, okay, maybe that's not quite as difficult as I thought. So here we go. We're going to see.
You're going to see how easy. It's just like making any soup.
I'm going to show you my onions. Did these look good?
This is great. You're doing awesome.
Okay.
You're going to cook down. So 2 tablespoons of your sesame oil goes straight into your pan.
Okay. 2 tablespoons.
You to eyeball it. So you don't have to measure if you don't want to.
Well, but I eyeball it wrong. Am I putting the heat on first or putting the oil in first?
I always just crank the heat and then do a drop in. And then I take my onions over to the pot.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm throwing my onions in.
Perfect. Then you follow with your onions. Yeah. And you make sure your cutting board always stays pretty clean.
Yep.
And you can get a wooden spoon or something to stir your onions with. So you want to give them a stir. And you make sure that they sort of get coated in that sesame oil together.
It smells amazing.
Isn't that great?
Why does everything sesame just smells amazing?
It's so good. I wonder if it's just, for me, it's a little bit of nostalgia growing up with the mom and grandma and the cooking. My father's side of the family is Polish American. So we had głumpki and pierogies on one side.
Wow, that's such a cool fusion. Like the difference in that.
If you can imagine, it was a lot of.
You should, that should be your next cookbook: a fusion, Polish and Japanese.
Oh my God, they're the cutest parents though, because they come from such different parts of the world. So it always makes me like happy. And what you want is a light caramelization, which means you're cooking out the water content from the onions, concentrating the onions themselves and making them sweeter. So the next thing we add, which is almost always a good combination, is mushrooms and onions together. You have your shiitake mushrooms. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and take off some of the stems here. And you can just do that by like twisting the bottom. you basically thinly slice across. And shiitake mushrooms are great for beauty, hair, skin, nails, antioxidants. People don't realize their medicinal benefits go beyond what we could get out of just processed packaged food. So while you're in quarantine, it's good to eat foods that are good for you, that boost your immunity.
Oh yes, totally. I love mushrooms. I never understand why people don't like them. Like, you know, so many people are like, oh, the texture. I love mushrooms. I would eat mushrooms and everything.
I do too. Because if you're making it ahead of time, is in order to keep the integrity of the noodle, you want to make sure that you drop it in your noodles right before your company arrives. The soup,
Right, so they're not sitting.
yes, because they will get mushy. So the integrity of the noodle, we say, always make ramen to the minute. In French cuisine, we call that a la minute. But you will
Right.
notice in New York City, the mecca of ramen in the US is technically, I think, Hawaii, New York, LA. Nobody does takeout ramen. And that's because these do not sit well in soup.
Right, totally. So by the time they get to your door, they're just not worth eating.
Yes. So
Am I throwing my mushrooms in?
put your mushrooms on in. And you know what, Ruth? Go ahead and add a touch of a little bit more sesame oil so that you can have everything coated.
Got it. I feel like you can never have too much sesame oil. my new favorite thing.
You're gonna love it. It's just a really easy ramen recipe, and we were really shocked too at how many Selena fans. I call them, Team Cell or Cell Nation, and I love them. They're my peeps. They love making the ramen as much as they did the matcha cookies, which is
That's so great. Look at that. You're educating the youth.
How are they looking? Tell us, Ruth.
They're still quite pale, but they're like sizzling away.
Okay, how does it smell?
Amazing. So amazing.
Okay, good.
They feel like they're getting kind of soft though.
Okay, so give them
The
a
onions.
stir. You can turn the heat up slightly if you'd like.
The smell is incredible. Seriously. When Selena kept saying that on the show, I was like, oh, I can't wait. I can't wait to smell this. Taste it, obviously, but the smell, she kept being like, ooh, this is like, remember she like invited her friend in because she was like, you have to smell this.
Hell. Yeah, we love
Yeah.
hell.
That was so cute.
Sweet show.
So when they asked you to do it, were you like immediately like, yes, I want to be part of this and so excited?
I was so honored and excited because I do come from a professional background of cooking in kitchens and working on the line and training at culinary school. But I also very much love teaching people. My compassion and empathy is with teaching people how to cook at home when they're especially not used to it. And so it felt like I could be her big sister because I also go through the same things that every girl our age or close to our age does, which is boys and dating and quarantine dating. And
oh my gosh, I want your tips. How do you find somebody over Zoom? That was crazy to me. I was like, let's get on the phone and talk about this.
Ruth, you know that everybody, when they're on a Zoom call, like you can really feel a person's energy, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And I think that if you find somebody that you're attracted to, you should reach out to them. It's good to learn how to cook for others right now. And it's good
to impress everybody with my new skills.
And then we're going to add 2 ingredients to this. In Japanese culture, we have this thing called neri goma. But since it's not easy to find, we use sesame paste, which is essentially the same thing. So your tahini
also smells amazing.
It smells amazing. Tahini plus miso paste. So when I was growing up as a kid, organic miso is so delicious and it's good for your gut bacteria. It's good for your overall immunity and it's easy to make. And if you're a vegan or vegetarian or you're just cutting down on meat during quarantine, it's a really good alternative that keeps you healthy and it keeps you full and it's full of delicious umami flavor because it's a fermented soybean paste. And I grew up eating it. My ancestors ate it.
It's so dark.
I look like I'm 24 because of it. Like it's all good.
Did I start putting it on my face too? Is it like an
Our
eye
next-
cream? For...
Ruth, our next session together will be how tips on staying young is good. Yeah.
I love it. Well, this is why they call you the Golden Girl of Wellness, right? You've got all the tricks.
You're so sweet. So just add 2 tablespoons or so, or maybe a little bit more of each of these ingredients.
Okay, on it.
Adding, like, you're making a scoop base. So when people aren't really used to this kind of cooking, I just tell them you want to coat your mushrooms and onions with a little bit more flavor. And that's what we're doing.
Right. Totally. Okay. Everything just smells so good.
Yay, I'm happy. Did you go to the Japanese store yet?
No, I need to do that.
Okay, great. I have a few I can recommend for you, Ruth, that are
Okay, perfect.
Do you have your purified water ready to go? I'm going to grab my
Yes.
8 cups of purified water is going to go into your miso paste bowl.
Okay.
I have this measurement here that I just do on my little Vitamix pitcher. And
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I love that you have your Soma. So you can go ahead and take your egg and slice it in half if you'd like.
Okay.
And start preparing your toppings. Do you also have another pan ready to go with boiling water?
Yep. It is bubbling away.
Okay, so that's going to be your pot for your ramen. So basically, while things are simmering or boiling, you can prepare your toppings. You can prepare noodles. Yes.
Sadly, I don't have fresh ones.
No
but
problem.
For next time, I will.
Totally. And this is like, it's something that's not easily found yet. So that's our job.
Yeah, I was struggling to get them, but next time I'll figure it out.
So this is Sun Noodles fresh ramen noodles, and they come in like a couple different varieties. So do
they come frozen or do they just come like that?
That's a great question. They come refrigerated, but you can buy them in the frozen section or the refrigerated section at the Japanese store. And even some Whole Foods locations contain these noodles. And I actually gave some to my girlfriends like this week and they were blown away. So I'll do a close-up of them so you can see the fresh noodles on my cutting board. Like how beautiful. They're not only are they gorgeous, but they're soft. And remember when Selena was on the show, she was like, oh my God, I can't believe it.
Yeah, she was like, they're so soft.
Aren't they gorgeous? I mean, my friends Kenshiro and Hisae make these in New Jersey, Hawaii, California, and they take deep pride in the quality of the noodle. So I really commend these Japanese companies that are really focused on keeping traditions alive. You know, like our heritage is only as strong as we keep preserving.
Right, totally. Teaching new people about it.
Absolutely. And I want people to know, like, it's not just about instant ramen. Like, ramen was a comfort food that kept the Japanese strong and full. So it was about staying satiated during the war. It's inexpensive, it's easy to cook, and it keeps you full for a really long time.
All things you look for in a dish.
Totally. Yeah. Okay, so for your noodles, definitely check how long those take to cook. This one I know
3 minutes.
You remember how we told Selena 3 minutes and 30 seconds?
Yeah, it was so precise.
I know. I'm so Japanese. I can't help it.
It's a good quality to have. Like,
it makes me laugh. So 3:30, we're gonna drop them and then we're gonna strain them.
Yep.
Make sure you have a clean knife for all of your cutting.
Okay.
Because we're gonna do a couple of toppings too. So while you're boiling your water, we can prep about 2 green onions. So we want to make sure we wash these and they look fresh and they look delicious. And we're going to cut them on the bias.
Yep. Okay. I only know what that is from watching the show. So do you want to explain what that is to people like me who are
Sure.
not so familiar?
Tell people that in order to get the integrity of the veggies or the fruits or the produce that you're cooking, you need to make sure that you do diligence on your knife skills. So I always make sure to have a sharp knife that works really well. And then we just cut on a diagonal.
Okay.
And then you get this beautiful result. Like we had definitely said that. I love getting an extra sharp knife to cutting this stuff. And have like.
Do I just go for like the lower part, or do you do the top part too? Like, do I bother with this bit?
Oh, I use the whole thing in Japanese culture.
Oh.
We don't.
Okay, perfect.
What we do, honestly, Ruth, is we throw away the bottom portion. The rest gets used. Yeah, and we cut it really long.
I love that. No wasting.
No.
Very important.
It's so different in American culture. They throw away so much. It makes me sad. When
I know, it's so wasteful.
It is really wasteful. And
wait, isn't that the charity that you guys work with on the show? Don't they do that with like leftover food in restaurants?
City Harvest, man. They freaking.
That's such a good idea.
It blew me away that they would come to set, and they'd also come and visit me whenever we needed a pickup. And they would take everything and they would make sure that it did not go to waste.
Okay, simmering and putting my noodles in now.
3 minutes and 30 seconds. So I'm going to put a timer on. So when you're cooking these noodles, set a timer.
Okay. So I wait till they come back to, they're boiling. It's fine. So 3 minutes and 30. Right. So you've been on Top Chef and Iron Chef. So is it like, do you find it stressful when somebody's watching you cook? Is that like adds an element of just stress to it? Or do you kind of like thrive under that pressure?
Maybe when I was younger, it's possible that on Top Chef, because I was 22.
Weren't you the youngest ever competitor or something? That's crazy.
So I was so young and I was in culinary school still, so I didn't really know what I was doing, but I was having fun. So that's all that mattered. Now, no, I actually really enjoy it because I've gained and learned the skill set that I need to become like successful. But I also know that it took, 15 years to get there. And so
right, totally.
Every woman.
So the confidence just comes.
Well, no, it came from cooking on the line, from editing magazines, from writing 6 cookbooks. It came from this love of passion for what I do and what I do best.
Totally. Have you found during quarantine, like I feel like a lot of people have got bored with the things they're cooking every night? Even as a professional chef, have you gotten to the point where you're like, if I have to prepare another meal, I'm gonna go insane? Are you still kind of like finding?
Well, since I'm not married, and I enjoy cooking for others, I find there's so much pleasure in cooking for others, and I miss it. I wish I could do more. So that's one thing that I know to be true is the more that you put yourself in a position where you can be of service to others and cook for others, I love it. It makes me feel really good.
Is there somewhere you're really excited to go eat once we are allowed to go to restaurants again?
To be honest, my mom's house, because my mom is the best cook I know.
Oh, that's cute. Is she the reason that you started cooking?
Totally. And whether she wants to admit it or not, the best person to learn from too. She's really humble. She's quite calm. She's very good about teaching tradition and culture. She's a Japanese language and cultural teacher, and she loves sharing Japanese culture to bridge that gap between the U.S.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good for her. That's so cool.
30. Thanks, Ruth.
All right. I'm at 13 seconds.
Cool. I'm going to drop my noodles in, and I'm going to use tongs to make sure that they stay separate.
This is going to be the hard part.
This is going to be the fun part. And get a ladle for your soup.
Ooh.
So shake your noodles and make sure you get all the water out.
Okay.
Then I always just bring them over to my cutting board to plate up. So you can also prepare your avocado if you want now. So I'm from California, originally San Diego, before I moved to New York.
So avocados are your favorite.
Yes, I moved to Los Angeles after my undergrad for culinary school, and then I moved to New York. So I've got a long stint of abandoning California. So when I came back, I was like, holy shit, I miss my avocados. So
yeah, I've noticed when I go visit there how much better they are than here.
oh, heck yeah. That's an understatement. They were like,
I know. I never want to admit it as a New Yorker, but it's true.
Ruth, they were $3 a piece in the city, and it like really pissed me off. So you'll notice when I cut these avocados, I just teach her how to slide them like butter with your knife thinly across the cutting board. Get your noodles and place them inside of your bowl. And typically in Japanese culture, you would use a strainer and you would catch them and just throw them in. But because we're at home, we know we have to do different things. So like you saw in the show, we just place noodles in the middle of the bowl and give it a twist. And the integrity of the noodle is keep it in the center. I'm just gonna pour some of the soup stock into the bowl. I never do it over the noodles. I typically just do it on the side.
Oh yeah. I heard you saying that on with Selena. You were like, do it the side.
Yeah, and before you do your full ladles, go ahead and add a little bit of sriracha too, just to make it spicy.
Ooh.
You can put it right
into my.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you can skip that if you don't like spice.
Yeah, definitely like spice. The more sriracha, the better.
That's good.
Okay, and then I'm just ladling it around the sides of my noodles.
Great. You can cut one of your eggs in half. You know what? Everybody's got a different way of making their eggs, so I don't discriminate. I just want a perfect.
Just want it to be perfect. Okay,
Yeah.
mine don't look as perfect as yours, but they'll do.
Well, you know what? I'm also known for making my food look very artistic, which is just part of the Japanese way. So don't compare ever when you're making a chef's recipes, because all of my friends know I am like a killer when it comes to food and art.
Right. Okay. I'm not comparing myself to you at all.
No.
Because yours looks so pretty.
Okay, so now you can add some spinach. I got some watercress, but honestly, I love the way the green onions look on the bias. You can just stack them up on top of the noodles.
Oh, okay. Wow, it's like a work of art.
Yes. Do you have your togarashi?
Yes, I do.
Great. This last thing is...
I messed this up. This does not look cute.
It's going to be so good. You just do
it's going to taste great. It's just not going to look too pretty, but that's okay.
You do a couple of shakes.
My next attempt.
No way. If it's your first try, you did awesome. So you shake that togarashi on top there.
Okay, let me grab it.
Just a
little bit. Or ooh, it's so colorful. I love it.
And you can do spinach. You can do bok choy. You can do. I mean, I love toppings so much.
Okay, I'm gonna throw some spinach on mine too. And cilantro?
You can do a little cilantro. I got us some watercress, so some fresh greens.
Pretty.
It'll be gorgeous. So we do a little bit of watercress, some avocado.
It's so healthy. Everything is so fresh and lovely.
Yeah, and it's nice to have something where you get some greens too, because that's not what Japanese people do. And I do it because I typically want healthy in my miso. And then when you're doing overhead shot like Selena did. You can just place your chopsticks in the corner and then you can just do a pretty overhead shot of what it looks like.
Amazing. Can I add some sesame seeds too?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
You can
Those are going on.
And then the flavor.
Oh my gosh, this smell. So good.
Taste test it yet. You can taste test your soup at any point too.
Okay, let me grab a spoon. I'm excited.
Very good broth.
Oh my gosh.
You like that?
So, oh my gosh. It like has a million tastes after as well. There's like layers to the flavor.
And it was
delicious.
So easy.
I can't believe I made this. This is insane.
I want to see your bowl now too.
Oh. Okay, here. I'm going to tilt this.
Yay! Oh my God, you did two. This looks amazing. Okay, so right before, remember we say itadakimasu.
Itadakimasu. All right?
And
close enough. Wow, this is so good. Candace, I can't thank you enough for making me kind of a chef.
You're so welcome. Okay.
Yay.
It looks so pretty. I don't want to eat it sometimes.
Mine doesn't look as pretty as yours, so I'm okay.
It's so good. And it's so unique, right? It's like very different.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And there's just so many flavors. Like every mouthful is like more and more.
Don't you think it was fairly easy too, Ruth?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Okay. And these fresh noodles, once you try them, and I know you will love them. They're so.
Oh yeah. Next time for sure. I'm gonna figure out where to buy them locally. Can I add more sriracha to mine too?
Yeah, of course. You can make it as hot or not hot.
Just a little drizzle.
Totally.
Also, it's pretty. It's a pretty color.
It'll look beautiful. Some people finish it off with white pepper. Some people do chili flakes. Some people like to do, an extra like dabble of whatever sauce.
Candace, this was so much fun. I cannot thank you enough. This show is so cute. I think everybody should go watch it on HBO Max and learn some skills. Like you can watch that and just pause it and do it as you go. Watch it. I watched it a couple of times. Pick up all the skills.
It was the best show that we've shot all year. And Selena is a gem and Team Selena is amazing. It was just a pleasure to work with HBO and with Selena. Her team is awesome.
Yeah, that really came across. So good job to everybody involved. And yeah, thank you again. I can't believe I created this. I'm so proud of myself. Now I can just like go and chill for the rest of the day and know I like accomplished something.
You did great. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Take care.